Hello everybody and welcome back to Goddess Gemini Gifts. Today's video is going to be a collective, obviously, for Geminis. But you're welcome here, obviously, if you're a Gemini Sun, Moon, Venus, Rising, North Node, or wherever Gemini relates to you. This may relate to you. It could even be a placement in your houses. This is a very special reading. It is called The Winds of Change. I have my book here. I do love this reading. It is not new to me. It may be new to the channel though, but it is not new to me. Also, I'd like to let you know, I do have a 95 off of my already 50% off readings available on Ko-Fi. That is right. You can use the code YT2025 for 95% off, or you can copy and paste the link in the description box and it will take you right there. Thank you for everybody who has purchased readings. I do appreciate it. And yeah, let's just get into this reading here. I do apologize. I'm trying to light my sage, but it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't want to light today. So yeah. All right, that's the best it's going to get. So let's be quick. All right, cleanse the cards and the energy and the space, please. Cleanse the cards and the energy and the space. Cleanse the cards and the energy in the space. Spirit guide, guardian angels, ancestors, I ask you to join me in this reading today for our lovely Gemini friends. Okay, today is the Winds of Change reading. I'm so excited for this one. It is one of my favorite readings. So let's get into this. Okay, so first we have the North. So how the change is associated with your physical being or resources. Okay, what is the change for Gemini and how is it associated with their physical being or resources, please? What is our change for our beautiful, lovely Gemini friends? Okay. Next is East. What challenges, opportunities, or problems does the change bring? All right. So I like to give 3 cards for this. So what is the challenges? What is the opportunities? Okay. And what is the problems? All right. That this change may bring. We got South, and that is the changes effect on your plans or projects or how you will be inspired. This is another 3 cards. So this is, what is the changes effect on the plans? Okay, what is the changes effect on the projects? What is the changes effect on how you will be inspired? All right. Next, we have the West card, which is what emotional reactions or experiences can you expect with this change? This is another few cards. So this one, I like to go with the, what's the positive emotions and the negative and the neutral? Okay. So what is the positive emotions you can expect for this change, please? Okay, what is the negative emotions you can expect for this change? And what is the neutral emotions? All right. And then finally, the center card is something you need to know about the nature of the change. All right. So what is something that is need to know about the nature of the change, please? Something that is need to know about the nature of the change, please. What is something that is need to know about the nature of the change? All right. So this is going to be interesting, Gemini friends. So we have your first card here is the Sun in reverse. So how change is associated with your physical being resources, okay? So the Sun in reverse, the change that may be happening for you, whatever it is, if it relates, if not, please remember to leave this behind for somebody else to claim. Okay, so the change for some of you may not feel that great in the moment, okay? Some of you are feeling a little bit uncertain about the change, okay? So Next, what are the challenges? Okay, so the challenges is justice. So I'm seeing a little bit of imbalance for some of you, or something may not be really an equal give and take in the situation. Okay, what is the opportunities? Love. Knight of Cups is showing me some kind of love offer or something that you love to do. Okay, some of you may need to move for a career path, but you don't want to leave people behind, is kind of what I'm getting for some of you. And then you have the problems, 5 of Wands in reverse. So you're not too sure how something is going to build with the 5 of Wands in reverse. So that's telling me you're not quite sure on the buildability of the situation, whether it's love or work or, moving because of that. You're not too sure. Or maybe you're afraid of losing the community that you have and are unsure if you're going to be able to build a new community, if that makes sense to you. That is what it's showing me. So next you have the changes effects on your plans or projects and how you'll be inspired. Okay, so we have the plans. Okay, so King of Pentacles in reverse definitely is showing a little bit either less money in the situation or uncertain on how serious of stability this will bring you. Okay, next we have the like projects, 9 of Cups in reverse. So it's definitely taking away from kind of an emotional cup, your own emotional kind of self project, maybe some of you have been working on, if that makes sense. And then you have the how you'll be inspired, though. Okay, how will you be inspired from the change? You have the Queen of Cups, so I do see a emotional fulfillment out of this, even though you may not feel so sure about it. It is possible to have an emotional fulfillment. You just may need to remember to take some time out for your own well-being, like something like could emotionally give you gratitude or like satisfaction or whatever, but like you also need to be able to like work on something emotionally for yourself, if that makes sense. I don't know how I'm explaining it. I don't think I'm explaining it very well. So for example, let's say you are moving for like a career opportunity. Okay, emotionally that is going to give you the satisfaction that you're craving, but also it's kind of like warning you about burnout is kind of what I'm seeing. Okay, so next here we have the West, because that was South, yeah, West. What emotional reactions or experience can you expect with this change? So we had positive, negative, and balance is what I like to do. So the positive is the King of Cups in reverse. So what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing more of the Queen of Cups. So this is kind of another warning of making sure. However, I do like how you do have the King and Queen, even though one's in reverse. In this reading. So that tells me there is a lot of emotional abundance. However, it may just also be a warning of when you are down and out, not to be like emotional spender or really pay attention to how your emotions are affecting you or how other people are affecting you with their emotions. Okay. Next, you have a negatives, which is the Four of Pentacles. So this is telling me you may be holding back either financially or kind of like a stability. Maybe you move somewhere and it's a relationship, but you don't quite want to move in with the person. Maybe you want to have your own place or your own space in a place. And that is totally understandable. It's kind of like, I love you, but I also need my own space kind of situation is kind of what I'm seeing here. And then finally, like the neutral balance here we have is the Queen of Swords in reverse. So definitely the balance I see is not looking at any kind of like you're not being manipulative and you're not going to take any manipulation, if that makes sense to you. Or mentally you're going to have to prepare yourself for that whole like stability versus emotionality and like really be quick on your way is what it's showing me. Okay, finally You have the center, which is something you need to know about the nature of this strength change. And I see strength in reverse. So this is telling me that it is okay for you to be vulnerable when you need to be. Okay, obviously have strength and that, but sometimes you may need to be vulnerable with people so that they get to see who you really are. Sometimes when we don't quite tell people how we're feeling and we always put on like this facade of like strength, people don't know that inside you could really be struggling. Okay, take this from somebody who knows this all too well. um, Everybody always thought, oh my God, you were like so well spoken and so well put together. But really, they didn't know inside I was screaming. So, like, that's kind of what I'm getting here is like, make sure for those you feel comfortable around, you can be a little bit more vulnerable. All right. Don't take your vulnerability as weakness, is also another thing. But I understand also the fear of being manipulated by the vulnerability. And I kind of see that's where this like neutral card comes in with the whole like being mentally agile and quick and whatever, and kind of like examining your surroundings kind of situation, if that makes sense. So this is the winds of change spread, and pretty much all it's saying is those of you who are either moving or going into relationship or moving forward in some kind of new emotional direction, you can have that kind of equal give and take, but you can also hold back for your own space. Don't forget to be mentally examining everything, but you can also be vulnerable with your emotions. Okay. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a lovely day, and goodbye now.